That's all I got, basically. That and like you gotta, if I may be honest, so I finished the stream on Friday, right? Recorded some Super Auto Pets videos that picked up my daughter from daycare. That takes you to 5. My in-laws, with my 2 nieces that were coming with us in tow, drove up from Washington after work. So they didn't arrive here until 9:30. We had to get up at like 5:30 a.m. to make the flight. Okay, so they arrived Friday night at 9:30. Because the whole family doesn't get to see each other all that often, my wife's parents came too, and my wife's 91-year-old grandma came too. It was like an impromptu family reunion. It started 9:30 p.m. on Friday. My sister-in-law said, we and the kids haven't eaten anything. So in the back channel, they texted their mom, my mother-in-law, to go to the Korean grocery store. They didn't get a frozen pizza we could all cook and eat on paper plates. They didn't get, McDonald's we could just throw in the trash. They got 2 huge soups. They got a sulantang and a gamjatang. And then we had to fire up the burners at 10 p.m., boil the soups. 10 people there. Everybody has to try a little bit of each soup. My wife's grabbing homemade banchan out of the fridge and arranging it on plates. Oh, everybody needs some water. Oh, this water is good, but can I have some tea instead? Okay, here's some tea. Oh, hey, do you guys have anything to drink? Okay, here you go. Oh, the kids really need some fruit. Okay, here you go. Let's chop up some fruit for you. We didn't go to bed until like 1 a.m. I was losing my mind. You can't just do that. You can't show up at someone's house the night before like a morning flight with 2 soups, man. And then like a party of 10. I was putting our baby to sleep at 12:30 or something like that, which is insane because she's 2 years old. And my wife is doing like an entire chuseok worth of dishes downstairs. And then we wake up early in the morning, and this is where I get my comeuppance, okay, or my revenge, because everybody's gangster when you got sulantang and gamjatang at 12:45 a.m., then 5:30 rolls around and I'm up and I'm fresh as a daisy. Everybody else is like, oh, I'm so tired. You should have thought of that. You made the soup. This is what they make like drive-thrus for. You haven't eaten. It's 10 p.m., we're taking your kids to Disney World for a week starting tomorrow. You get some McDonald's in the car, eat it, throw it in our trash can. No problem, okay? The soup is madness. Everybody's gangster. At 1 a.m., nobody wants to wake up at 5:45. I'm like the GIF. Yeah, I didn't get no sleep because of you. You're not getting any sleep because of me. I was talking about how your parents brought over 2 enormous chungo at like 11 p.m. when we were leaving for vacation the next morning.
Yes.
We did, and people were like, rate the soup. We didn't eat the soup because our responsible asses ate dinner like 4 hours earlier.
Yeah. They were like, oh, why don't you sit down and eat some dinner with us? And I'm like, bro, we go to bed at like 9:30 now.
It's crazy, yeah.
We got a baby, and we don't eat. Like they came around 10 p.m. with a bunch of food.
It was crazy. Your 91-year-old grandma, I was putting our baby to bed. Your 91-year-old grandma was like, stop, I have to talk to you. I was like, lady, it's 11:45 p.m. You're 91 fucking years old. Go to bed. What are you doing?
My grandma had nothing to do with this.
She's just along for the ride.
It was the combination of my older sister and my mom. How even my mom, did you know she brought her own rice cooker?
I did see that. She did bring her own rice cooker.
Cause she's like, I heard that you got a small rice cooker, so I brought our rice cooker. And I'm just like, literally they like, at 10 p.m., they moved in, basically. They brought enough food for 2 huge pot of soup, rice cooker, and then she was like, oh, where's like the side dish? And then from the store that they bought, they only gave them like a little kimchi. And they're like, there's that much kimchi and there's like 8 of us. What are we gonna do?
Your brother-in-law was like, do you guys have any alcohol? And really stressed out. We were like, the only alcohol we have is champagne. He said, oh no. This dude said no to champagne.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't champagne. Don't be crazy.
I mean, we don't want the champagne either. That's why we have it. If we wanted it, it would have been consumed by now.
And then we have like a cooking sake. And then my brother-in-law goes in and goes like, hey, yo, sake. Can we have some sake? I'm like, oh, I guess you could. And it's like, is it okay if we clear this whole bottle? And I'm like, what? You guys are driving back. And then it's like, yeah, this is nothing. I'm like, no, you guys are not allowed to drink my full bottle of sake. You crazy?
Not to mention, it was probably opened in like 2021.
Oh, sake is like good though.
I don't think so.
I think so. I mean, I use it for cooking.
Yeah, but then you drop it in the pan and it goes like...
Yeah. They brought like a 6 to-go plastic container full of soup. And then my mom goes like, do you think that's okay? And I was like, what do you mean that's okay? Like, my mom goes like, well, I think we need to transfer all this soup into a different bowl. And I'm like, what do you mean different bowl? And then it's like, oh, you know, I think it's hard to eat it like that. I'm like, what do you want me to do? And then she's like, well, can we transfer over to like, do you have pots? Maybe we can like put in a pot.
Lady, this isn't Changmo Jeep.
And I was like, what? It's like, it's kind of hard to eat it like that. And I was like, well, you brought it like that though. So I pull out 2 big pots, and I only have 2 big pots. And then I transfer them over. My sister comes over, she goes like, is the dinner ready? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then they go like, oh, we have too many people, there's not enough seats on the dinner table. What should we do? I'm like, you can sit here. And they're like, okay. And it's like, oh, there's not much of like side dish. Do you have any? And I was like, well, I did cook some side dish. And she's like, well, you can just bring them out, maybe we'll eat some. And then they ate all the food that I cooked. And I was like, hey, don't leave any leftovers, because like I have to clean up so much, and it's like 11:30 p.m. and I gotta go to the airport in the morning. And then they're like, oh, I'm too full. And then they just left it like that. Nobody cleaned up. I have to clean up. Crazy.
We got a lot of trauma from the past week.
It's insane.
Had a lot of fun too. We got a lot of trauma. I was talking to your brother-in-law, and I was like, I mean, I was kind of at my wit's end. I was like, how is Kate's mom like so energetic at 11:30 p.m.? And then he was like, it's because she wakes up at like 1 in the afternoon.
Really?
I was like, that can't be true. She's like 62 years old. But she was really like, I put our kid to sleep on like a different floor, and then I had to close the door because she was going crazy down here. You said it, not me. Oh man, it's just crazy. We got a flight in the morning, and they would like have a big pot of soup at like 11 p.m. for dinner, and then have to do the dishes for 10 people before we go to sleep, before we wake up to take your grandkids. I was trying to figure out the familial relationship there on a trip. I just said next time we come over to their house, I'm showing up at 1 a.m. I'm bringing an uncooked turkey. I say, hey, we were a little hungry. Yes, I know we live in a house that has food, and the drive from our house to your house passes by 500 restaurants where we could easily get something to eat. But check it out. I had a turkey craving. Is it okay? Is it okay if I start just preheating your oven to 425 degrees Celsius? It should only take like 6 or 7 hours for the whole bird to be done. Oh, and of course, when you have a turkey, you can't just have turkey, right? When you have solentong, you can't just have the soup. You got to have all the banchan. So you got to have the gamja cholim. You got to have the kongnamul. You got to have all this stuff. The rice, I understand. You got to have the rice, but you got to have kimchi. Oh, I didn't just mean cabbage kimchi. You got to have radish kimchi. You got to have danmuji. You got to have cucumber kimchi. It's out of control, man. Singing in the bathtub, sitting all alone. Tearing out a tonsil just like a baritone. What is wrong with this guy? Singing lots of songs, singing in the bathtub is like righting all your wrongs.